Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. Sometimes a single piece of technology comes along that doesn't just change things, it triggers a full-on tectonic shift. Today, we're tracking that shift. We're going to follow the shockwaves from just one force, artificial intelligence, and see how it's completely reshaping corporations, redrawing the map of global politics, and, get this, even overhauling our entire energy grid. So where does a story like this even begin? Well, how about with a number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around? $100 billion. That's how much one guy's fortune jumped in a single day, all thanks to this AI gold rush. And that person, Larry Ellison, and his company Oracle, well, they give us our first major clue about where the real power in this whole revolution is hiding.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with this new AI gold rush, then see how it's making some giants rise and others stumble. From there, we'll zoom out to the US-China tech chessboard, then get into the insane amount of power this revolution needs. And finally, we'll connect the dots and ask what this all means for who's really in control.
Okay, first up, let's find the epicenter of this whole thing, and you might be surprised. It's not actually the AI models themselves. Nope, it's the incredible, unprecedented demand for the raw computing power they need to exist. This right here has become the new digital gold, and believe me, everyone is scrambling for a piece. And that brings us right back to Oracle. Now, for a while, a lot of people kind of wrote them off as this old-school database company, right? But suddenly, they are a central player in the biggest tech story on the planet. And the reason is simple. They have exactly what every single AI company is desperate for: massive data center capacity. Think of it like this. They're not just selling pickaxes in a gold rush. They own all the land. And the ambition that's fueling all this demand, it is just off the charts. I mean, listen to this quote from the CEO of an AI startup called Lyla. This isn't just some marketing fluff. They're not talking about building a better chatbot. They are explicitly trying to build a beautiful mind, a polymath, to solve humanity's greatest challenges. When you have goals like that, you don't just need more computing power. You need a nearly infinite amount. And the money, my gosh, the money following that ambition is just staggering. We are not talking about small bets here. Oracle's deal with OpenAI, that alone is for 4.5 gigawatts of power. We'll get to what that means later, but trust me, it's a lot. Then they're also a partner in Stargate, wait for it, $500 billion AI project. And at the same time, a brand new startup like Lyla can raise almost $250 million before they've barely gotten started. It's wild. So that's the gold rush. Now let's talk about the first big ripple effect. Because all that money and demand is creating a brand new corporate hierarchy. The ground is literally shifting under even the biggest names in tech, and we're seeing some really clear winners, and honestly, some pretty surprising losers. And you can see this trend creating two totally different camps. In one corner, you've got companies like Oracle who are providing the basic infrastructure, the plumbing, if you will, and their stocks are just skyrocketing. But in the other corner, you have a giant like Apple, a company that's always at the cutting edge, and now, well, they're seen as playing catch-up. Delays to Series Big AI upgrade, losing top talent, it all points to a real struggle to keep pace. Now, other giants are facing completely different kinds of pressure. Over at Tesla, you can almost feel the board trying to keep the focus squarely on business results. I mean, listen to this quote from the chair, Robin Denholm. It really sounds like they're trying to build a firewall between Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, and, well, everything else Elon Musk does. And it creates this really fascinating dynamic, right? On the one hand, Musk is buying $1 billion of his own company's stock to signal confidence. But on the other hand, his political activities are making a lot of people nervous about potential damage to the Tesla brand. It's a total high-wire act, and it's injecting a whole lot of uncertainty into the situation. Okay, so the ripple is getting bigger. It's moving beyond corporate boardrooms and is now crashing onto the global stage. Because AI and other key technologies, they're not just business tools anymore. They've become central battlegrounds in the huge geopolitical chess match between the United States and China. And look no further than the whole TikTok saga to see what this looks like. I mean, this back and forth over its future in the US perfectly captures this new reality. It's this whole drama of legislation, last-minute deals that just implode, and constant high-stakes negotiation. It proves that TikTok isn't just a fun app for videos. It's a strategic asset in a much, much larger game.
And this brings us to a really key concept you have to understand to make sense of the world right now: technology as a bargaining chip. We have officially entered an era where control over a piece of software or a tiny silicon chip is becoming just as important as control over major shipping lanes or oil reserves. It's a whole new world.
And you can see both sides moving their most valuable pieces around the board. For the US, a big piece is control over TikTok's US operations, and of course, that prized recommendation algorithm. On the other side, a key piece is NVIDIA, the company whose advanced chips are absolutely vital for AI development. So when China suddenly issues an anti-monopoly ruling against NVIDIA, well, you can bet that analysts see that as more than just a regulatory move. It's a strategic countermove in this very high-stakes game.
All right, now we get to what might be the biggest, most unexpected ripple of them all. This is the one that crashes out of the digital world and slams right into our physical one. We've been talking all about digital intelligence, right? Well, it turns out that creating it has a massive, very real, very tangible cost. And that cost is energy, an almost unimaginable amount of energy.
Hey, remember that number from earlier? 4.5 gigawatts. Let that sink in. That's the energy capacity needed for just one single deal, the one between Oracle and OpenAI. A figure like that for one commercial project was basically unheard of until now.
So to put that into perspective for you, that one deal needs enough electricity to power millions of homes. This isn't some gradual increase in demand we're talking about. This is a vertical spike on the graph. It's a jump so big it's forcing an urgent top-to-bottom rethink of our entire energy infrastructure. And this has kicked off this absolutely fascinating chain reaction. It's like dominoes. First, the AI boom creates this massive energy shortfall. Second, the administration realizes that current sources just can't fill that gap. So third, what's the plan? Fast-track a whole new generation of nuclear reactors. And the final, almost audacious endgame? Commercial fusion energy. And listen, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky sci-fi dream for 100 years from now. The U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright is on the record with this jaw-droppingly ambitious timeline. He's saying we could see commercial electricity from fusion in as little as 8 years. The sheer urgency that AI has created is taking energy timelines that used to be measured in decades and compressing them into just a handful of years. Okay, so let's step back and pull all these threads together. Let's try to really understand what this massive interconnected shift actually means for our future, because this is a story that literally connects a single line of code all the way to a nuclear reactor. Think about it. What started as a seemingly simple technical problem, needing more computing power, has triggered this unbelievable cascade of consequences. That demand created a new gold rush, which totally reshaped corporate fortunes. The immense value of that tech then turned it into a geopolitical weapon. And finally, the sheer physical hunger of that technology created an energy crisis that is now pushing us toward a historic pivot to nuclear and fusion power. And that leaves us with one final and maybe pretty provocative question to think about. We are racing at full speed to build this incredible new future, a future powered by artificial intelligence. But as these ripples keep getting bigger and more powerful, it really forces us to ask, as AI builds this future for us, who or even what is truly in control? Is it the companies building the models, the nations fighting for dominance, or is it the sheer unyielding physical demands of the system itself? If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.